Hi, Mark here from PondAlgaeSolutions.com, and this week I want to do something just a little bit different. We receive emails all the time with feedback on our products, and we received one just recently from Robin in North Carolina, and I want to share this with you because it brings up some important points that we may sometimes forget to mention, particularly when you're using a beneficial bacteria product to help clean up your pond. Robin writes that about 3 weeks ago I was at my wit's end. I have a pond that was built directly in the sun, and it wasn't long after filling it with water this year that the water had already turned green and I could not see my fish or the bottom of the pond anymore. I looked around everywhere to find out what I could do that was not too expensive to get the pond cleared up. I bought your dispenser system. She's referring to the 2500 system, which came with a 2-month supply of product, beneficial bacteria. I received the dispenser a few days later and placed it in my pond on July 22nd. Now, according to your website, it was supposed to take up to 4 to 6 weeks to work. I noticed last night that my pond was a lot clearer than it had been, and my husband didn't know that I had ordered this product, and when he walked out on the deck this morning, he asked me how I got the pond so clear. I was reluctant to buy this product at first because I thought it wouldn't work, but it has convinced me differently. I can see my fish again, and only after 9 days. It works better than they tell you. Robin, thanks very much for this feedback. We appreciate it a lot, and we get a lot of those types of comments. Obviously, we like the fact that the product is very safe, too, and it does do a good job of cleaning up a pond from a number of problems. A couple interesting points here. Robin was doubtful that this type of product would work, and I have to admit to you that years ago when we first began to research this technology, I too was doubtful about it working. It almost seems magical at times, and it's really neat to see it when it does clear things up as one would hope for. But there are a couple key components to this, and I would address these suggestions for anyone using a beneficial bacteria product, whether it's our line of products or anything else out on the market. A couple key points that will help you get better results. First of all, it's important to make sure you're not underdosing with a beneficial bacteria product, or probably any natural product for that matter. It's important to know your pond size. On PondAlgaeSolutions.com, on our blog, as well as on our site, we have different ways to estimate your gallon size of your pond through a pond calculator, and we also offer up the raw calculation numbers so you can figure it out yourself. But it's important to know the full volume of the pond you're working with. That way, you can ensure that you're not underdosing, at least for the pond size. Now, that's just the beginning. The pond volume is the minimum dosage we would start with. Secondly, we also want to take into account anything that could help increase nutrients in the pond. This might be organic sedimentation at the bottom, if we know that's there. Dead plant matter, dying grass, dying algae, all kinds of muck can develop down there, and if it's organic, it's releasing nutrients into the water. So we need to offset that. We also, if we have a smaller pond, we have to take into account our fish load, because fish will create waste. And so all of these things have to be factored in and added into the equation a little bit so that you're not underdosing for the demand or the need. Okay? The second thing is that many beneficial bacteria products work better as they're used consistently. One shot may or may not be enough. If you use bacteria and you get colonization in the pond where the bacteria can set up and begin to repopulate itself, that's great, but it doesn't happen all the time. And so some ponds require a more routine dose. When you have to add these things physically, it can be a bit of a burden to remember to do it, to remain timely and consistent. And of course, our product does a lot of this for you. It's dosed properly, and it also is time released over a 30-day period. So it covers a lot of that. Those are important factors regardless of what you're using. The other element that I think is important is that the pond system, the water quality, should be conducive to helping bacteria do well. And that means good oxygen levels. You have to be aware that this stuff relies on good oxygen levels in the water to perform better, and it also works better as you move towards a more neutral pH. pH that's widely swinging high or low off of the 7.0 neutral will usually inhibit the effectiveness of most bacteria products to an extent. And some products also are warm weather products. In other words, once you get below 50 degrees, unless your bacteria formulation is all season, then you've got temperature limitations too. So it's important to understand all of these criteria, and knowing these things will help you get better performance out of a bacteria. I'd urge you that if you've tried a bacteria product in the past and not gotten the results, take a look at these suggestions, see if this was sort of a plan that you followed or didn't follow, and if not, maybe consider bacteria again with these insights in mind, and you might get better performance going forward. So I hope that helps. Thanks again to Robin for her feedback, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care.